You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong. Author and cerebral palsy advocate Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When, everyone. I hope those of you in lockdown are staying in lockdown and obeying state-by-state orders. As I told you yesterday with Melissa, I just learned from Melissa that the president can't do a nationwide lockdown, so that's why we have to do the state-by-state lockdown. But enough of my COVID-19 announcement. I want to bring on Lisza, and Lisza is going to take it away and explain more about what she does. So welcome, Lisza, and I'm going to let you take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wynn. I so appreciate it, and I look forward to our conversation here. Just to fill in our listeners just a bit about myself, my husband and I started our business actually in 2003. We've been through quite a bit. We are both actually business growth strategists for medical, health, wellness, and nutrition professionals. And what that means is we work business to business. We really support the small business owner and the entrepreneurs who are in the health and wellness space. And we've actually been doing so since 2003. And just a short overview is that both my husband and I come from the health, fitness, and wellness industry for over 30 years for each of us. And then when we connected, my husband actually created the business in 2003. I was working still a brick and mortar job in my old industry, was a law firm administrator. So I bring a very varied business background. And then I started supporting him and helping him, ended up leaving my 20-year corporate gig. And we really took off and took the business from 2003 to today. And so what's interesting for us is we're very fortunate. We're really fortunate in that we have been positioned for tough times. I mean, we really have. We weathered through the economic downturn in 2008, 2009, and we had a full 8,000 square foot brick and mortar health and wellness facility in Orange County, California, like probably one of the most expensive areas you could be. And we went from $5,000 days to $200 weeks in less than 1 month, because 90% of our clientele were in the real estate and real estate brokers. And so we ended up closing the brick and mortar, going entirely online. We'd been online since 2003, but as part of our brick and mortar, we shifted in 2009 to entirely online. And, because we come from the business side of it, we work as business strategists. Quite frankly, we saw that there was a recession coming. We didn't see the COVID-19 coming. Nobody could have predicted that, but we were positioned, and we started positioning our clients to redirect their business with the understanding that we were going into a recession. So again, we're very, very fortunate to be able to be positioned here to be able to serve people at a greater level. So that's a little bit about us.
And I'm very, very fortunate that I had a part-time job. I am very blessed to be a motivational speaker and be making a little bit of money off my books and a little bit of money off my podcast. I want to be making more, but I just quit the corporate gig as of March 13th, 2023. Essentially, I got laid off due to coronavirus because I emailed my ex-school now where I taught, and I said, well, what are you guys doing as far as the kids, as far as the teachers? And they go, we don't have a plan. We don't want spring break, but we do agree that self-isolation is the best for you guys, best for you. And I said, bye guys, because bye. You didn't tell me your plan, and so I can't prepare myself to help you guys. Bye.
Yeah.
And so this is why I started the podcast and wrote books and did all that, because I knew that economic crash, just like you, Lisa, was coming again.
Yeah. Yeah. So you positioned yourself.
I positioned myself. I got laid off my job back in 2009. And then I positioned myself to be a solo entrepreneur and to be a motivational speaker. And so when I said bye-bye to my day job, my day job was like, what? And I said, well, you don't give me a plan, I can't help you. I can't support the kids.
Wow.
So,
wow.
yeah. And now, Lisa, I have a question for you. If you were going to move house and only take 3 things with you, what would they be?
Well, I love this question, by the way, because this really, I had to take a moment to really think about this. And I think I figured it out. So, number one, I would take my computer, because with my computer and everything that I have on it, I can do my work from anywhere, right? I can still serve and help people. So I would absolutely take my computer. This probably counts for more than one thing, but I would take all of my artwork, and specifically, not my artwork, my art that is in my home, but specifically my grandfather's art, who was a very well-known artist. He was actually my great-grandfather, and I have so many of his beautiful paintings, and a lot of art that I was passed down to me from my mom. So I would most likely take my art with me, because it makes me feel connected, and it's beautiful, and I love the art. And the last thing I thought was obviously I could get it anywhere, but I would have to take my coffee, because I love coffee, and it gets my day started. So I wanted to have something fun in there.
Yeah. So computer, art, and coffee. Well,
yes,
that's that for you. And so,
yeah, everything else I can do by myself. So no need to take it.
What is your favorite book, and what is the title?
Okay, so this is a tough one, because I have a pretty extensive library, and I love books. I've always loved books. I've always loved to read ever since I was a little girl. And so I have a very big collection. So to narrow it down to one was very difficult. However, I will say one of my favorites and I'll tell you why, is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And it's because I love her style of writing. I love her message, and it always keeps me on track, but it's done with a great sense of reality. And I just love her. If you guys don't know Jen Sincero, she actually has a series of different books, but her very first book was You Are a Badass, and that's actually one of my favorites.
And that is fantastic. And I think she has a podcast as well.
Yes, she does. And she has quite a story, really quite a story as well. Having brought herself from, I won't spoil it, but she has a wonderful approach. It's very entertaining and a really important message.
And so, if your best friend was going to write a book about you, what would the title be?
By the way, okay, I love your questions, When I really do. Again, quite a bit of thought on this one. I would probably say it would be titled Adapt and Change, Living and Thriving Through Change. The reason is I have moved my entire life, meaning when I was very young, we moved about every 2 years. My father was in the military. We lived overseas. I lived in Japan. Actually, Japanese was my first language. We moved back to the States, and we moved all the time. And as a child, I thought it was really difficult, right? I mean, it was definitely a challenge for me. However, the huge benefit in it is that I have the ability to go anywhere in the world. You could just drop me anywhere, and I can meet people and make connections, and I adapt very, very quickly. It doesn't freak me out. I love to explore new places. So for me, it's all about adapt and change. I've done that my whole life, and I've lived in some really, really amazing places. And, I have moved a lot. And you could either look at it as, as a child, it was a little disruptive at first, but again, I have friends from everywhere and people that I stay in touch with, and it has been a huge benefit versus the other way around.
Yeah, versus the other way around. So the book would be more about adapting and changing than it would anything else.
Yeah, and especially in this day and age, with everything going on, with the world changing, right? It's so important. How do you adapt to this? How do you, if this is a new concept for people? Again, I've been very fortunate because my husband and I have been working from home since 2009. So for us, it hasn't been a big shift at all. And so what we do is we're supporting other people and giving guidance and support for people who, this is new and challenging rather.
And what would be your best advice for someone who is now got shifted, who still has a job, thank you very much, and got shifted to the working home environment?
Yeah, that's great. So first of all, obviously, I would be gratitude that they still have that job. And what I would encourage them is to think outside the box, ask different questions. So how can I better serve my employer or my clients? How can I better serve them, and how can I do it in a different way? And again, one of the things, like we have people that approach things in a different way. They can either find a challenge or a problem with every solution, or they can find a solution to every problem. And so I encourage people to ask different questions so that you can find the solution to every problem, because there always is a way. And quite frankly, if you're not sure how to do that, this is an opportunity to reach out to mentors and to people who have those skill sets. I'm sorry?
Like me. I said, like me, I can set you guys up in 2 seconds flat. I mean, it was so funny because my counselor, I am going to a counselor, and my counselor goes, "How do you do this?" And I said, "Okay, we figured it out together, but I be blessed that you still have a job. You're just shifted into the at-home environment." And so he was relying on me to help her, which I could set you guys up in 2 seconds flat if you allow me to.
Absolutely. This is a perfect example of it, right? Because you're now serving people, and by getting your message out here, right? And you actually have several messages as far as that. You also do quite a bit of art as well, right?
Yes. I haven't done that since 2006, but I do art as well.
And so, what was your preferred art form for yourself? Were you painting or what?
Acrylic. Acrylic. I was painting, and I want to get back to it, but I will get back to it, you guys, after I get my journalism degree. And then the huge surprise is I'm looking into a health coaching program, a health coaching degree for myself after I get my journalism degree. And so because I sat here thinking, I mean, I am skinny as well. I need to teach people how to live a healthy lifestyle with a disability because with this situation we have going on now, I will I need to teach people how to live a all natural lifestyle, or try to at least. And so the huge surprise for you guys is after I get my journalism degree, I'm actually going into a specific program to get my health degree and in intuitive health out of Arizona State University. And so that is my plan.
Wonderful. That is very exciting because you have a very, very specific niche, which is fantastic. And if you need any, additional guidance, I would love to have you reach out to me.
I will.
Yeah. Would love that. That's fantastic news.
As soon as I finish out my journalism degree, you guys, I will be on my way to getting the health degree, and I'm super excited because now is the time because I have done a lot of soul searching and have watched the disabled struggle and have watched caregivers struggle and through this time. So I thought, well, after I get my journalism degree, why not go into the health field as a health coach?
Absolutely, and your specific niche can so use this. They really can. It's very important that they have somebody that they can connect with. I think that's brilliant.
Oh yes, So it's going to be intuitive health and out of Arizona State. But first, I have to finish up a journalism degree at Ashford University, which I'm working on. And so I'm super excited to be not only a journalist, but now soon to be a health coach. And I will keep you guys updated on that. But I just wanted to share that I'm just sneaking around right now looking at all the disabled out there and how much they're struggling. And it's like, nope, you're not going to struggle on my watch or Lisa's watch because we're here to help. And so, Lisa, if you had to describe your morning routine, you've been very lucky, as you said. You got the lucky stick. So I won't say pre-coronavirus. I will just say now because you have been working from home. So what is your morning routine and what is your morning ritual?
Again, this is a great question. So yes, my morning routine has changed a little bit because the gym that I normally go to, which I call my happy place, obviously is closed right now. However, again, we're very fortunate as we actually also have a home gym in our home. So I have plenty of things here that I can modify and do at home. I prefer going to a gym, quite frankly, just because it gets me out, because I work from home, and then if the phone rings, like I prefer to go to a gym or go somewhere else.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I also am very fortunate. I can walk out my front door, and I have 7 miles of hiking trails right behind my home. So I do a lot of hiking. There's not a lot of people out there. Actually, there's almost nobody out there, so I don't have to interact with anyone right now. But my normal morning ritual is I always get up. I'm always the one to make coffee in the morning, so I get up first to put on the coffee. Then I do some journaling or some uh, what sort of mindset. I just sit and do some mindset work. Just kind of
Mindset
just
work.
breathing. Yes, and just take about 10, 15 minutes. Then after my coffee, I'm generally getting dressed and normally going to the gym. Now I'm just getting dressed, and I either go into my home gym or I go out for a hike and or a run. I try and utilize that opportunity. Once I get done with my morning workout, then what that does for me is it literally not only does it get the blood flowing, but it also gets my creative juices flowing, meaning I always come up with my best ideas either while I'm working out or right after I get done. Like, because I'm thinking of different things or I'm listening to a podcast. I always use the time to listen to a podcast and not music, so that it literally helps me think of new ways or new things that I can approach in my business or with my clients. So
Yeah.
when I come back, then I'm in a really good place. And then quick shower, jump back right into my office and come in and start to, I make notes and I put everything down, or I'll do that first, then jump in the shower, and then I come back in and I'm in a really, like, everything just starts to flow. So that helps me get in the flow.
Well, isn't it wonderful? And I shared a post on Facebook last night from another podcaster I follow. Carrie
Oh,
is her name, and she said to, and I think she meant to the guys too. She said, during this work at home environment, get dressed, please. Get
yeah,
dressed, because it puts you in a whole
yeah.
totally different mindset. And I actually commented on it both. I said, I get up, I get dressed, I sit down at my desk, and then I'm perfectly fine.
And you what?
I am perfectly fine. I mean, but
Oh, yeah.
I think that people are now being lazy about getting
Oh,
dressed
yeah.
and making the beds. So get
I think
dressed,
that's a
people.
great suggestion.
Get dressed.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And
treat this, treat your workday as a normal workday.
absolutely. Absolutely agree with you on this. In fact, I'm also seeing a lot of my friends and people that I know that will be like, I haven't done my makeup, I haven't done my hair, and again, for men, like literally getting dressed and combing their hair and shaving and
Yeah,
all of that. Like, it's really I do it. In fact, I'm actually on video a lot, so I do it anyway. And I don't want to stop that. I want to still be able to be fully present, and like you said, like, get dressed, like, treat this like you would. I mean, that doesn't mean you have to dress in a suit, but get dressed, do what you would normally do, and then sit down and do your work. But it doesn't mean you have to let it all go.
no. And someone said, some another person said, who I follow, Eddie out of the Creators Academy out of Florida. He said to all of us, take a lunch break. Take a lunch break. Even though we're
Ah,
working remotely right now, take a lunch break. Walk upstairs to take a lunch break, and don't take the lunch break in front of your laptop, and use that time to listen to music or listen to a podcast, and then go back to work.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. I generally do like 30-minute time slots, meaning I work 30 to 45 minutes, and then I get up and I walk around. I usually get hot tea. In fact, hot tea right now or hot, any kind of a hot liquid is supposed to be very, very good. I do a lot of essential oils, so I make my tea out of essential oils and honey and some apple cider vinegar. So I do that. I'm right now, I'll have 3 or 4, and I've never done this before, but I have 3 or 4 cups of tea during the day. It gets me up. I go over, I heat up the water. It gets my blood flowing. So I do also recommend that. I mean, you're so right on this, is get up and, don't just get stuck at 6 or 8 hours in front of your computer. Like, you must take little mini breaks and walk around. The other thing that's very important, and especially for those of you who have, can do full on movement, is make sure you are not sitting in a chair all the time, like really getting up and moving or changing your position, because it tightens up your hips and then you will start having back problems. So it's one of the things I learned a long time ago, is it's very, very important to keep movement and keep the blood flowing as often as possible.
Yeah. So that's great advice, but I would think take a lunch break. You guys, don't be sitting in front of your computer. Take a lunch break, get moving, and even if you have to apply for, let's say, unemployment, because I know people that have lost their jobs to COVID-19. And so let's say, put the time on, say I'm going to work on a specific task due to COVID-19 for 30 minutes. And then when that time is done, they call it the Pomodoro method. When that time is done, you take that break.
Yes, the Pomodoro. And actually, this is a great opportunity for people who have lost their jobs to learn new skill sets, just like you're doing. Going to school. This is an opportunity, huge opportunity to learn. Like, we have online courses. We're doing, our clients are reaching out to us, our prospects. They're in this time to learn something new, or learn a new way of doing business, or learn a new, program, or whatever that might be. I really
I'll learn a new trade. Hello?
Yeah.
I will, and mark my words to you guys, I will see a whole new shift in the workforce, because these offices are going to go, the heck was this? The heck was paying office space? We want our workers to be happy and healthy.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. It will be a whole new way of doing business, but they're also actually something very uplifting. I'm very limited on how much time I'm spending watching the news right now, but I do want to make sure I stay on top of what's going on. And last night there was amazing. There's some major big companies that are actually hiring right now. The big companies, the ones who have to still provide the groceries and still provide the household goods, they are hiring, these big companies. So there is opportunity if you are looking for it. There always is.
Amazon is one of them. Amazon up in Seattle is one of them. Amazon, the grocery stores, are another one. I think Target
Walmart is.
Walmart is. I know that Target is hiring. Seattle's a little bit of a mess right now, but you need to you people need to reinvent yourself, because I can't hear any more stories. I've heard some stories from dear friends saying that, look, I'm applying for unemployment, and I'm like, well, you need to reinvent yourself. You need to do what you need to do, because the baby boomer generations are sitting through this, and those of us who are lucky to have jobs like my stepmom and like my friend Lisa and like myself need to help people reinvent themselves, because obviously the teachers who are still teaching are going to go back to their working model classroom, but those teachers that got laid off are not going to go. And so it's, either you get in the health industry or you get in a multi-level marketing company or you get something or you learn a new skill because the workforce is changing. And I don't want to see people on unemployment. People on unemployment is sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And again, it's having a skill set that you can take across different things. But it's, again, as I said in the very beginning, you can either find a problem for every solution or you can find a solution for every problem. And
Yeah.
I believe the solutions are there. You just have to look for them. And again, people like yourself, Wynn, and myself, we are here to support you to help provide solutions and understand that it's just, again, asking better questions and looking for the solutions. It's available. It really is.
Oh, yes. And I could teach you guys how to subscribe to a podcast in 2 seconds flat. I have done that. I have done that in the past for people. People just give me a subject matter. I look it up. I send it to you via Android or Apple podcast. And with permission, I'll take your phone and subscribe you to a podcast or do a screen share with you and teach you how to do it. Because podcasting is another modality of learning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it absolutely is.
So it
Yeah.
absolutely is. Now, Lisa, do you have any questions for me as we wrap this interview up?
I think I've asked you pretty much. I wanted to ask you. I noticed, again, I was doing my research on you and learning more about you and your background. It said that you also were an athlete, and I would love to hear more about that.
Oh, yes, I was. Oh, yes. I am the first woman ever with cerebral palsy to compete in the Kona Ironman. And I did it with a team and a teammate in a team. And so I didn't finish the Kona Ironman, but I'm lucky enough to say that I was a Kona Ironman competitor.
A what competitor?
Kona Ironman competitor. For those of
Oh,
you
wow.
that don't
That is so
know,
amazing.
that's a triathlon, and
Yes, of course.
the reason why they do it, the reason why Kona is such a big deal is because of where they do it. It's Olympic distance triathlon, the swim,
Yeah.
bike, and the run.
Yeah.
And so I did not finish the Kona triathlon, but I'm lucky enough to say that I am a Kona Ironman
Competed. That is
competitor, and
incredible.
as soon as all this is over, I am potentially going back to it because people have asked me, would you do it again? Of course, I said yes, I would do it again. It would be a totally different situation than how I did it the last time. But I am thinking that once I become a house coach and once I become a journalist, it's my bucket list to win the Kona
Wow.
Ironman, no pun intended, because I did this. I did the swim. I did the bike. I did not do the run, and we were cut off. We were taken down by the winds of Kona,
Oh,
and
wow.
so we were cut off. And I plan to do it again.
Wow, that's amazing. That is a huge accomplishment. Absolutely huge. I know I've done triathlons, so to do an Ironman is big. So that is I knew
Yep.
there. Okay, I was very excited to hear about that. That's fantastic.
Well,
Great share.
um I am happy to say that I did it, and I will do it again if the opportunity arises.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. And Lisa, where can people find you? Where can people get a hold of you?
Well, what I would love to do is actually share some free tools and resources for people, and through there they can reach out to me. But I like to provide value, and we have something called like our free resource toolbox for anyone that's looking to do business. And obviously primarily we work with the health, wellness, nutrition and fitness industries, but these tools work for any industry or anybody. And that would be at www.works.news /marketplace. And that would be the easiest way to kind of get started and learn a little bit about us. And through there, you'll have a link to me. If you look, and I'll spell my name out for everyone. I think you'll probably have it on here as well. I'm on Facebook, and it's Liza, middle initial is L, and then my last Crisalle, Crisalle. So Lisza L. Crisalle. And I'm on Facebook. You can find me. I love to connect. And Wynn, I'm just so grateful, and I really appreciate having this great conversation with you today.
I do too. And you guys can connect with me on Facebook. I'm under Wynn, Win, Charles, Charles, and I'm open book. You guys can connect with me. I'm not too afraid to get out there, and I wish you guys the best of luck. But let's start teaching our dog new tricks here, and let's make the economy better, and let's make the workforce better, and let's start working from home. The work from home movement, you guys. Your employers are gonna be like, what? What did Wynn start? Well, Wynn started the work from home movement, and I hope that Lisa's story inspired you guys to eventually say to your employer, I'm done, I want to move on. And so let's make this world a happier and safer place for you guys. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
You just listened to Ask Wynn, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwyn.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Wynn on Twitter at WynnKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Wynn's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Wynn, the podcast.